Good evening, everybody. Let's go ahead and begin. Welcome to the 2025 Omaha by Design Mayoral Forum. My name is David Levy. I'm a partner with the Baird Holm law firm here in Omaha, and I have the pleasure also as serving as president of the board of directors of Omaha by Design and serving as your moderator this evening. This is our fourth quadrennial forum. I learned a new word for this, quadrennial. I guess that means you're fourth. Dating back to 2013. This is the only forum with a dedicated focus on the topics which physically shape our city's future growth and development. Again, if I didn't say so before, I want to extend my sincere thank you to all of you for being here. It's great to see so many people here, so many people with an interest in this very important election, of course, for our city, but also to see so many people so interested in the issues and ideas that Omaha by Design works on full-time. Before I introduce the candidates, I want to recognize our sponsors, and they're showing on the screen behind me as well. Platinum sponsors, AIA Omaha, Baird Holm LLP, Dundee Bank, Investors Realty, and HDR. Thank you again to our platinum sponsors. Gold sponsors, Alley Pointer Macchiato Architecture, Jay and Mary Palu, Lockwood Development, and Fullenkamp, Jobin, Johnson, and Beller. Thank you to all of them. Silver sponsors, Lund Ross, Maggie and Mike McMeekin, Spark CDI, the Latino Economic Development Council, and Bike Walk Nebraska. And again, thank you to them, and thank you to all of our sponsors. Join me in thanking them. In addition to our generous sponsors, Omaha by Design is very proud to be joined by 14 community partners. I will not read all 14 because they're being shown on the screen behind me, and I know you want to hear from the two people on either side of me, not me. But our community partners have assisted in the production of tonight's event, helping to formulate questions, sharing expertise, and serving as volunteers. So again, thank you to them, and please join me in thanking them. And finally, special thanks to our host, Creighton University. What a beautiful space we're in here tonight, and we so appreciate them making this available to us and hosting us here tonight for this great event. So with that, I want to introduce our two candidates who I think at this point in the campaign process may not need much introduction, but to my right, welcome incumbent Mayor Jean Stothert.
Thank you. Thank you.
And to my left, Douglas County Treasurer John Ewing, Jr. Thank you. Tonight's discussion is intended as a forum, not a debate. As such, the candidates have been asked to refrain from engaging in back and forth exchanges, a rule which I will enforce strictly. Speaking order has been determined by a coin toss with the candidates. Following the candidates' opening statements, I will ask a series of prepared questions, which I'll ask the candidates to answer in rotating order. Following this, time permitting, and I think we'll have time for just a couple written questions submitted by you in the audience. Again, thank you all for being here. With your written questions, when you have them, after about my third or fourth question, you'll see volunteers in the two center aisles. So please pass your questions to the center, and they will get those and get those up to me. So with that, and without further ado, I'm going to open it up for the opening statements here. Before I do that, we provided both of the candidates with the following little piece of text and asked that if they like, they may incorporate this in their opening statement. And that is, Omaha is composed of many unique neighborhoods and small business districts. If you would, please share with us one of your favorite hidden gems, along with why you feel that neighborhood or that district is a hidden gem. So with that, based on the coin flip, Mayor Stothert, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, David, and thank you to all our sponsors. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to discuss our progress and a stronger Omaha in the future. My focus on public safety, lower taxes, business employment and business growth, neighborhood revitalization, long-term road rehabilitation, economic development, all of those things that impact the future of our city and all of us. We have built, in the last 12 years, a very strong foundation. My priorities are goals that have a positive impact on you. Number one, public safety. Number two, managing the city budget, keeping taxes low. Number three, economic development and job growth. And number four, improving the taxpayer experience with excellent customer service. And I am very proud of the results that we have achieved. We have now the lowest crime rate in more than a decade, a 17% drop in overall crime, 21% in violent crime, the lowest number of homicides in over 30 years. Every single crime index in 2024 fell, and that trend is continuing in the first quarter of this year. The City of Omaha is in excellent financial shape. I have lowered our property tax levy 5 times. It is the lowest now since 2010, while improving and expanding city services. Our bond rating is very high. Our savings accounts are strong. We are spending your money, so I take that responsibility very seriously. I have developed and I have managed a $1.7 billion budget, ending every year since I have been mayor with a surplus. We are rapidly repairing old and deteriorating streets with a sustainable rehabilitation program after the voters approved the bond issue. It was reauthorized last November. You all approved it again. And so far, we have had an additional $400 million to spend on rehabilitating our roads in Omaha. Our plan is in place, and our plan is working. By the end of this year, we will have completed about 1,000 additional lane miles of road resurfacing of brick, concrete, and asphalt streets. That's about the distance between Omaha and Atlanta, so that's a long way. This program was created with taxpayer input and voter approval and without an increase in tax. Development is at an all-time high, growing each year across the city. We have invested millions of dollars in affordable housing. We are transforming historic neighborhoods into places of innovation and entrepreneurship. And we are creating new public spaces for our youth and for our family. These are not just plans, it's a record of action with results, achieved by strong leadership and with our valued community partners. I'm focused on public safety, lower taxes, employment, business growth, safe roads, total mobility, and neighborhood revitalization. Strong neighborhoods make strong cities. Along with our oldest north-south streets, we have 2 real gems, to bring up the real gem. But I would say they are hiding in plain sight and not hidden. 24th Street connects a very diverse, significant, and historic neighborhoods of North and South Omaha. In Omaha's early years, 24th Street was busy and prosperous, rich in cultural traditions and heritage. Today, 24th Street links this rich ethnic past to the needs of our community. The neighborhoods surrounding North and South Omaha business districts are growing into places of innovation, entrepreneurship, and urban living. Small business owners can achieve their dreams in these areas. Tourists can enjoy great food and theater and art. Business improvement districts give these neighborhoods and businesses an opportunity to be involved in plans that benefit everyone in that area, including transit, mobility, beautification, and development. There are exciting times ahead along South 24th Street and North 24th Street, and I think those 2 areas are really worth celebrating. So I look forward to your questions tonight. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Ewing.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone, and thank you all for being here. Thank you to Creighton University and also Omaha by Design for having this forum. I am honored to stand before you tonight as a candidate for Mayor of Omaha, our city of grit, heart, and opportunity. Omaha is at a pivotal moment. As we grow, we must grow wisely by modernizing our land use and zoning policies to encourage smart development. Transportation and infrastructure should connect, not divide our communities. It's time to invest in mobility options that serve all residents, from better roads to public transportation and safer streets for pedestrians and cyclists. We face a housing crisis that demands action. Every family deserves a safe, affordable place to call home. We'll revitalize the neighborhoods with purpose, not displacement, and ensure working families aren't priced out of the city they helped build. As the climate changes, so must we. Omaha must lead on sustainability, making our city more resilient, greener, and prepared for tomorrow's challenges. And finally, our progress means nothing if it's not shared. Equity isn't a slogan, it's a standard. I will prioritize inclusive decision-making, empower underserved communities, and ensure every voice is heard in shaping Omaha's future. This campaign isn't just about policies, it's about people. Together, let's build an Omaha that works for everyone. And as I thought about the things that I see in Omaha that I think are unique gems and jewels, what I really thought about was the area in Benson along Maple Street with the theaters, the opportunity to hear live music, and that's one of the things that my wife and I enjoy together, and we enjoy that with a lot of friends as well. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you all for this opportunity.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, with that, we'll get to the first question, and again, based on the coin flip, Mr. Ewing, you will be the first to respond, and then Mayor Stothert will turn it to you. If you would keep your responses to 2.5 minutes if possible. I know that's not much time, but that will help us get through this, and we want to be respectful of your time as well. So question number one. Omaha has recently been named the nation's hottest housing market, a status that reflects increased financial pressure on thousands of low and moderate income households who struggle to afford quality housing. Easing this pressure will take a lot of building. According to the city's Housing Affordability Action Plan, Omaha will need approximately 18,000 more units of affordable housing by 2030 to meet the needs of low and moderate income households. What role can the city play to finance and incentivize the construction of new affordable housing, and are there any existing regulatory barriers to building affordable housing that you think the city should address? Mr. Ewing.
Thank you. The city can and must work to incentivize developers to be able to provide decent and affordable housing. We don't need any more housing like we've seen with City View, like we've seen with Legacy Crossing. We must work to ensure that everybody has an opportunity to have a decent and affordable house. We do that by creating incentives and opportunities for developers. We do that by working and creating partnerships with Habitat for Humanity, Front Porch, and other organizations. I was a member of the Habitat for Humanity Board of Directors and have been working with them closely for at least 25 years. I actually was the board president when we hired the current executive director almost 20 years ago. And I've watched as they've become the #1 affiliate for Habitat for Humanity in the United States. And I think those are the types of organizations, the type of work that we need to be doing. We need to be including TIF and tax increment financing as one of the tools that will allow us to be able to create the affordable housing that we need. We can't just continue to create luxury apartments and things that are out of the price range of ordinary working people in Omaha. We also need to take a look at our existing zoning laws. We have laws that create additional expenses that don't necessarily lead to a more productive building environment or safer homes. We've got to look at those and eliminate things that aren't going to add to the quality or the safety of the homes that we build in this city. Then we also need to have different zoning laws and changes so that we can be more dense as we look at growing vertically instead of just horizontally like Omaha has done for so many years. We are in the position where we will run out of expandable space going west, so we've got to do more infill housing right now instead of waiting until 2050, or instead of waiting until we run out. We've got to look at trying to stop that now rather than waiting until 2050 when it's too late. So zoning changes will make us more able to do that and give us the opportunity to build a sustainable city for the future of the people of this community, especially our young professionals who are really looking for decent and affordable housing.
Thank you. Mayor Stothert, same question, please.
Thank you. The Housing and Affordability Action Plan, or HAP as we call it, is a really excellent example of a coordinated and intentional plan with specific strategies to increase availability of affordable housing, developed with community input, produced by the Planning Department, approved by the City Council. The implementation of the HAP plan is underway. The goals are to increase the types of housing to meet the current and future needs, to preserve existing affordable housing, and to ensure that all parts of the city have affordable housing at lower costs to our citizens. Strategies to finance and incentivize. We are creating a housing development fund to supplement the cost to build affordable housing. The cost of affordable housing is too expensive or unaffordable for developers to build. We are funding this with TIF contributions from the Urban Core. The Urban Core Housing and Mobility Redevelopment Plan identifies up to $200 million in available funds for affordable housing. We also need to reduce costs of affordable housing by offering pre-approved plans, such as plans developed by the Omaha Design Housing Playbook. We need to change parking minimum requirements, which we are doing, which will reduce construction costs and allow for more units to be built. We need to increase all types of housing, triplexes, quadplexes, small multifamily buildings, and also ADUs. We need to increase density. By 2050, we estimate that we will have annexed and all of West Omaha, because we will be right there at the ridge line, and you can't bring your sewers across the ridge line. So what we are doing in Omaha, our focus has always been on suburban growth out west and urban infill. We are not waiting for anything, and if you've been around downtown, midtown, you can see that that urban infill is happening now, not waiting till 2050. It's happening now. And we also need to work with our surrounding cities to successfully increase affordable housing throughout the metro, because sanitary sewers that I mentioned before are necessary for urban development. So we have to be good partners with Sarpy County and Council Bluffs, so because the cities and the suburbs cannot grow without infrastructure. The city is also advocating to maintain and expand our current programs that are administered by HUD, and that's using our CDBG money and our home funds. Last year, with those dollars, those entitlement funds in 2023, we received approximately $46 million to preserve affordable housing. Regulatory barriers, there are still some, and we need to look at those. Building codes are necessary to ensure compliance with safety and health standards. So we know we have to have building codes, but we need to review those, and we do review them very frequently. That could possibly lower the cost of housing without compromising on public safety.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you both. Next question, and this will be to you first, Mayor Stothert. Omaha has adopted Complete Streets, Vision Zero, and the recent Active Mobility Plan, which together set strategic strategies toward a future where Omaha's streets are safe and accessible for everyone, not just drivers. And yet people traveling outside of cars still face major challenges moving about our city. In the next 4 years, what actions would you take to advance a complete multi-modal transportation network where Omaha residents can choose to bike, walk, and take transit safely and conveniently? Is there a need to dedicate a larger share of capital funding to multimodal improvements?
Well, when I created the Vision Zero Task Force, the goal was to eliminate traffic deaths on our street, because I think our roads are a fundamental responsibility of city government to maintain and to guarantee our roads are safe. Right now, every time we design a new street, we apply the Vision Zero lens to developing that new street to make sure that it's safe. Every TIF project proposal now is reviewed for infrastructure improvements that need to be made, such as sidewalks and road improvements too. The Parks Master Plan, which is reviewed now and it is being updated currently, identifies expansions of our trail network in Omaha, and that should be published by the end of this summer. The Baby Bob, we just opened that up. It's open now, and it connects local regional trail networks, and that now is finally open. Protected downtown bikeways, the first of the multiple protected bike lanes for both commuting and leisure, connecting to employment, Housing and entertainment and recreation and leisure, after a one-year pilot, we are moving forward with multiple protected bike lanes downtown. Urban core street conversion study, this is not completed yet, but we are studying the one- and two-way streets in our urban core and downtown, and this work will guide investments in safety and also in walkability. I also created the Active Living Advisory Committee, and they provide very valuable input on multimodal transportation needs. And this is a citizen-led committee created by executive order. Every plan, though, that we talk about, it has to be funded. And that's why we have the 6-year Capital Improvement Program, or the CIP. That identifies priorities and projects, and it identifies the funding sources. The plan is updated annually, and because the community priorities do sometimes change. The CIP is funded with 5 different kinds of bonds. I wanted to make sure you remembered what those were. Those are public safety, public facilities, park bonds, transportation bonds, and environmental bonds. And those are the 5 bonds that the voters vote to approve. And they just approved another round of those bonds last November with the November elections. And so that's how we fund our capital improvement program. But it is a 6-year plan.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ewing, same question, please.
Thank you. We have far too many traffic fatalities in the city of Omaha. We have got to work with our community partners and advocates to collect the appropriate data and then make the necessary changes to keep our streets safe for all of the users in our communities, not just the drivers. Once we collect that appropriate data, then we need to look at how we are going to expand transit options across the city. We need to have multimodal options for all ages and demographics, and need to expand the infrastructure that supports the use of the public transit system. We had a shocking number of deaths through traffic-related accidents in the last several years, as I just mentioned, and we need to continue to look at ways to make transit safer for those who are using multimodal transit options. Expanding transit options will also reduce environmental strain and capital costs associated with heavy automobile traffic. There is a need for additional capital funding for multimodal improvements, but those decisions should be made in consultation with voters who will use those systems. We need to create more connected bike lanes and walking paths, and what I would say is we also need to increase the number of neighborhood hubs so that people can live, work, and play in their neighborhoods, be able to have a grocery store, be able to have shopping and all of those things, so you don't always have to get in your car and drive. You can do those things in your neighborhood. So that's part of what I would consider a comprehensive approach to the issue of our transportation in the city of Omaha.
Very good. Thank you very much. Next question, and Mr. Ewing, you will have the opportunity to answer this first, and then Mayor Stothert, it will be to you. Omaha's metropolitan population recently surpassed 1 million residents, a symbolic milestone that brings both opportunity and challenges. Based on current projections, the city could exhaust its supply of readily developable land by 2050, prompting important questions about how future growth will be accommodated. How would your administration plan for growth in a way that enhances quality of life, yet avoids the pitfalls seen in other rapidly growing cities?
One of the things I believe we have to do is I believe we have to focus on ensuring that we are developing with the growth mindset that takes all of those factors into consideration as you're growing. You have to look at how we are going to utilize our land more effectively so we don't push all the way to the limit and potentially run out of space by 2050. So if we start working on that now, then we have the opportunity to prolong the actual use of the land and the expansion by doing infill and doing other things that will allow us to focus our attention on the failing and degraded infrastructure of the city of Omaha. Then we can develop those areas more effectively. We've got to get back to basics and focus on fulfilling the unmet needs in housing and public transportation, to ensure that we are building a denser and more functional city that allows people the opportunities to live, work, and play in their neighborhoods, or move from neighborhood to neighborhood without a car if they so choose. We also need to ensure that our city's development facilitates living wage jobs and that we are not creating a permanent underclass of inescapable poverty by reducing the gap between wages and rent in our community. We can do that by creating more living wage jobs and increasing the development and building of adjacent and decent and affordable housing, not just the gentrification and the $3,000 per month luxury apartment buildings that we are seeing in today's growth.
Thank you. Mayor Stothert, same question, please.
Sure. You know, Austin, Texas is a great example of a city that grew and grew and grew and grew so fast they didn't keep up with the housing, and then it resulted in a big housing crisis. But let me say this, cities never stand still. They are either growing and moving forward or they are declining and falling behind. I have seen this firsthand, what happens to a city. My hometown, St. Louis, Missouri, and no, I do not live there, despite what social media says, but that is a city that is declining and falling behind. I will always move Omaha forward. So how do we handle these competing issues that are happening of growth and decline? Well, first of all, it's our city's comprehensive plan or master plan. We started rewriting our master plan about 2 years ago with a lot of help. It's called We Make Omaha. Tons of workshops have happened so far, community engagement, surveys, public outreach, and we are at the place now that we have hired 3 new people to help us work on that plan, and it should be done in a couple years. Now, our master plan, our comprehensive plan, what we're calling it now, was first designed and first written in about 1997-98. It has been updated and elements have been added, like the environmental element or the transportation element. So it's constantly being looked at and updated and approved by the city council. But what we felt, it needed a complete overhaul because the original plan included development for a revitalization of our older neighborhoods, and it was also focused on managing this explosive suburban growth that we were going through at that time. Well, a lot has changed since that time. So that's why we are developing a new plan, and we will look ahead into the anticipated needs in the suburban expansion and the needs to prepare for the city in the future with a fixed boundary out west when we have annexed everywhere we can, and the infrastructure needs to coming back to our urban core. If you want a vital city that is growing and moving forward, you have to have a vibrant urban core. And once again, I want to say our focus has always been on suburban growth and urban infill. It's not one over the other. It is both. So some of the things that we are doing here, transit-oriented development, or we call it TOD, is revitalizing the increasing density in the center of the city, including the revitalization of 72nd and Dodge area, Crossroads, Oakview, and commercial centers all along 72nd Street, 84th Street, and 90th Street. The other thing is, again, returning to our core. Implementation of the Greater Omaha's Chamber of Commerce Urban Core Strategy Plan, and they gave the city their strategic plan several years ago, is well underway. And it is a very strategic, detailed plan for our urban core to attract 30,000 jobs and 30,000 residents over the next 30 years. That is our goal. Once again, what do you do to attract young professionals and young businesses? You look at what they are looking for. What are they looking for? They're looking for urban living. They're looking for affordable housing. They're looking for walkability, public transit, open spaces, entertainment. And that is exactly our plan as we continue to develop our urban core. And it's well underway. This growth is critical for the health of the core of the city and the revitalization of Omaha's older neighborhoods that rely on a healthy core. Our urban core has lost 21,000 jobs since the 1960s. That was a great hit to those that live in North and South Omaha because that's where a lot of their jobs were centered. And that's why we have that plan for 30,000 more jobs, 30,000 people in 30 years. The other thing is our strategic plans and our partnerships. And we will continue to keep Omaha growing and moving forward using the strategies that we found in the new comprehensive plan or master plan, the urban core strategic plan, which I just mentioned, the housing and affordability action plan, the park master plan, and the active mobility plan. All of those things are plans that we have worked on, and they are working, and we are defined what action steps we are taking, and we are moving forward with that. So together with working with our partners, which are the Greater Omaha Chamber of Commerce, the Inland Port Authority, Omaha by Design, the Urban Land Institute, Front Porch, Habitat for Humanity, OADC, and other numerous other nonprofit and philanthropic organizations, we are getting things done. But it is a community effort, and all of those entities that I just remembered are working on the plans with us.
Thank you very much, Mayor Stothert. We are halfway through 3 of the 6 prepared questions. We're just a couple of minutes behind schedule, so as moderator, I'm feeling good. Thank you to our candidates for keeping their answers concise. They're great answers, concise. Just a reminder, audience questions, we should have time for a couple at the end, so start writing those down, thinking about those, and when you're ready, pass them to the center aisles. So next question, and Mayor Stothert, this will be to you first for a response, and then to you, Mr. Ewing. In 2024, the City of Omaha adopted its first Climate Action and Resilience Plan, which set the ambitious goal of achieving a 52% decrease in the city's greenhouse gas emissions by 2035 and reaching zero emissions by 2050. These decreases would need to take place across multiple sectors, including buildings, transportation, and waste management. What major steps would your administration take to reduce the city's greenhouse gas emissions, and what role can the city play to encourage private companies and residents to make changes that will help achieve these goals?
All right, thank you. And the Climate Action Plan was created under my direction, and so far it has been all grant funded. No city funds have been used on it. But it's important to remember what the 2 major sources of greenhouse gas emissions are. And one is power generation, and the other one is vehicle miles traveled. So that's what we have to look at when we really want to make a difference. Cities that prioritize climate action and resiliency are making a commitment to a better quality of life for citizens, and it's also a commitment to improve the outlook for business and for industry in your area. With input from over 4,500 residents, the city created and adopted a plan that identifies 8 target areas with our climate action plan and 189 action steps to help lower emissions and become a resilient city. The biggest impact that we can make is how we allow our city to grow. Our built environment, it plays a very critical role in shaping how we use energy in the city of Omaha. Recently, Omaha has seen a shift towards denser development across the entire city. The number of dwelling units per acre has nearly doubled. My administration has encouraged that kind of growth. Whether it's downtown or at 144th and Dodge or 192nd and Dodge, we've seen more multimodal mixed-use development that makes walking, biking, shorter trips easier, helping to cut vehicle miles and vehicle emissions. Infill projects like the Millworks District, Millworks Common District, the Crossroads development are leading the way in prioritizing density. Reducing sprawl and protecting Omaha's natural ecosystems, all essential for lowering emissions. Dense residential projects like the Duo downtown at the end of the Jean Leahy Mall, used to be the old Central Park Plaza, also bring big, huge energy benefits because they have shared walls, and common systems means more efficient heating and cooling, helping residents save energy and also save money. Every new infill or vertical development project is another step towards curbing our carbon footprint. As we implement the Climate Action Plan and Resiliency Plan, we are forming a Mayor's Risk and Resiliency Advisory Board, and that is going to be formed. Just like with the creation of our plan, this committee will collaboratively bring together community members, business leaders, city staff, and other public agencies to work collaboratively together. We're also preparing to accept a federal grant to help us develop an electric vehicle readiness plan, add solar-powered charging stations at bike stations, and expand household energy audits and retrofits in partnership with groups like United Way. To support all of this work, and it's a lot of work in our plan, the city is creating a new virtual hub, and that will be a space where we will share best practices, track climate action progress, and provide toolkits to help households and businesses take part in building a sustainable Omaha.
Thank you very much,
You bet.
Mr. Ewing. Same question, please.
Thank you. I will prioritize the ability to create green, resilient, and energy-efficient developments in the city of Omaha. I've met with several green and climate change organizations in the city. Sustainability and equity go hand in hand. I'll prioritize green infrastructure, projects like tree planting, storm water management, and energy-efficient public buildings that both create local jobs and improve the quality of life, especially in the areas most vulnerable to climate-related impacts. We need to work and have smart steps with OPPD, MUD, and other energy providers so that we can have the most efficient delivery systems as possible. We also need to make sure that our construction is energy efficient in Omaha, as well as getting more public transportation, zoning to create density, and more neighborhood hubs where we rely less on our vehicles and give people the opportunity to be able to do the things they need to do in their daily lives in their neighborhoods. I think it's critically important that we don't create plans that we put on a shelf, but that we create plans and then we put those plans into action and we get things done for the sustainability of the city of Omaha.
Very good. Thank you very much. At this time, please pass any last written questions to the center aisles. They'll be picked up one more time, and that will be it. Next question, Mr. Ewing, this will be first to you and then to you, Mayor Stothert. Omaha's identity is shaped not only by its infrastructure, but by the public art, parks, and gathering spaces that bring people together. These spaces are more than amenities. They're essential to fostering pride, safety, and a sense of belonging in every neighborhood. What steps would you take to ensure all Omaha residents across all neighborhoods have access to high-quality amenities and public spaces?
Thank you. One of the things that I have done as the Douglas County Treasurer is I have surveyed the citizens of this community, asking them what they want to see in the Douglas County Treasurer's office. That's the same approach I will take as mayor when it comes to looking at what amenities, what things people want in parks, because at the end of the day, it's your neighborhood, it's your park. And what I see far too often is that the city is dictating to people and saying, this is what we're going to put in this particular area. And then you find out that the residents are dissatisfied with what is actually there. So I think we have to have the data, we have to have the input, we have to develop this data-driven plan that will address the deficiencies that we see in our neighborhoods and create a roadmap for implementation and delivery of these amenities in our public spaces. The quality of our lives are based on the quality of our neighborhoods, and we have to do a great job partnering with our community so that we develop the plans, the parks, the public spaces that they will enjoy and that they will be able to have in their neighborhood so that they can have a safe neighborhood. They can have a neighborhood that draws people to them. One of the things I want to do, especially in North and South Omaha along our historic 24th Street, is to actually do more to get people into those neighborhoods and to see that as a tourist destination, so that we can begin to continue to develop those amenities that allow for people to enjoy their neighborhoods.
Very good. Thank you. Mayor Stothert.
Thank you. The City of Omaha never puts plans on the shelf, that's for sure. And we do not dictate. We work and engage our community. A good example is what I said just a few minutes ago, when just so far, the last 2 years, in developing our city's new master plan or comprehensive plan, so far, over 4,500 have taken part in giving input for that new plan, and more will happen in the future. But a great example of public engagement is when we received our ARPA funding or our COVID funding. What I did is I surveyed the community and said, what do you think is the most important and where should we be spending this money? And that wasn't pick A, B, C, D. It was just on my webpage, and I said, where do you think we should be spending most of this ARPA money? And parks and public spaces came out as number one, because people really value our parks and public spaces in Omaha. We have 256 parks in the City of Omaha, so we have a lot of parks. But we have invested, with that ARPA funds money, $12 million for our park improvements in qualified census tracts, and all but one was in North Omaha or South Omaha of the $12 million of ARPA funding, our COVID money. We're opening up, for example, a new summer camp and doing improvements at Mandan Park in South Omaha. We're opening new natural biking trails in Adams Park in North Omaha, and also remodeling and revising all of Tranquility at 120th and Maple. We're building a Levi Carter Activity and Athletic Center in Levi Carter Park in North Omaha. It's about a $48 million project that's going to have an indoor and outdoor facilities. We are also finalizing that design at Tranquility that I mentioned before into a multi-sport championship youth sport complex, so all over Omaha. The award-winning riverfront parks is something I really like to talk about, and I want to thank Omaha by Design for recognizing the park and the skate ribbon with your Laurel Award, and we really appreciate that. That park, I remember on the very, very beginning, sitting around a table talking to a group of business leaders in Omaha, saying, what could we do on Lewis and Clark Landing to bring people down there every day of the year? Because as you remember, there were two failed restaurants there. It was really pretty down there, but nothing was going on. And I remember one of these business leaders looked at me and he said, let's think bigger. And big cities do big things. And with that, we said, let's join Lewis and Clark Landing to Heartland of America Park, to the Jean Leahy Mall, and let's make one huge City of Omaha-owned park into something fantastic. And it is. Right now, over 5 million people have visited that park so far. The new parks master plan, as I mentioned before, will be completed late summer and will further identify priorities for our park system, our trails, and all that people love to be out and use and enjoy. We have a Parks Board that I appoint the members. We have a Public Art Commission, and we also have a Parks Foundation that help us and engage with us at planning the public spaces. When I talk about public art, I have to mention what is in our new riverfront parks. There's a sculpture garden, there's the Kaneko art, where they're changing the art in our public spaces with the new riverfront parks. Even the orbit bus stops that you see along the orbit line with the transformer boxes, there's art on those. The new Joslin Art Museum, our new library, it has an open grassy area and there will be public art there. And back on the riverfront, what's something I love to look at is that statue of Big Elk, and that huge statue right down there, which is also public art. So a lot of things that we have done, I think, that has really made a difference in our open spaces and public art, bringing that all together, and people enjoy it every day of the year. I was even down riding by the Jean Leahy Mall when it was snowing one day and it was 20 degrees and there were people out on that playground. And our playground on Lewis and Clark Landing just won a national award. So these are things that we all focus on, and these are things that we all can enjoy. But it's all developed with a lot of public engagement and input.
Thank you very much. Okay, this is our last prepared question. This one will be first to you, Mayor Stothert, and then to you, Mr. Ewing. Omaha is often recognized as a great place to raise a family, but a truly livable city must offer opportunity at every stage of life and in every neighborhood. As the city grows, our built environment plays a critical role in shaping access to opportunity. Over the next 4 years, what are your top priorities to ensure that all Omahans have access to the economic opportunity and community resources they need to thrive?
We don't just have a 4-year plan, we have a 6-year plan. And that is our capital improvement plan. It is a 6-year plan that prioritizes our investments from transportation to public safety, public facility, parks, sewers and street bonds, and preservation projects. And importantly, this 6-year plan has in it how we are going to pay for it. And that's important. This plan is created annually along with our budget. I give the CIP, or the capital improvement plan, to the city council the same day I give the new budget to them, and they review it and they will approve it. And we will always make necessary changes to our capital improvement plan too, because the only year that is truly funded is the year we are in. So we're always looking at it, reviewing it, and changing it according to the needs. Our CIP, for example, currently includes another new library out in West Omaha, expansion of the CHI Convention Center to attract more and bigger conventions. It's already creating new interest in Omaha as a bigger convention destination. We are, in our capital improvement plan, is a new fire station in northwest Omaha, yes. Parks improvements, including Jerry Parks and Boyd Field and northeast Omaha. And so all of these things are in our capital improvement plan that I just mentioned. Again, there's 5 types of bonds, how we fund things. There's public safety, public facility, transportation, park, and environmental. All of those things are how we fund our capital improvement plan, and all of those bonds go on the ballot, and you all vote to approve them.
Thank you. Mr. Ewing, same question, please.
Thank you. As mayor, my focus will be on ensuring that Omaha grows in a way that is inclusive, connected, and forward-looking. I believe that opportunity must be built into the foundation of our city, not left to chance or reserved for a few neighborhoods. We have to have development input for our aging population in Omaha. One of the discussions I just had in the last week was with the group that is looking to have Omaha designated as an age-friendly city, and there hasn't been no further discussions with anybody else in the past about that. We must incorporate our young professionals as well as we look at what we're going to do to attract young professionals as well as retain our young professionals in this community. So we have to have a parks plan that works for all of the people. We have to have a public spaces plan that works for all of the people. And I just don't see that when I talk to the people in this community, that they feel like the parks are well maintained, that the parks really meet their needs for their families, and they believe we can do better, and so do I.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we probably only have time for one audience question, but we'll do at least one. And continuing in our same pattern here, Mr. Ewing, this will be first to you and then Mayor Stothert to you. And the question is, what strategies would you implement to attract major employers to downtown?
I think the first thing we have to do is we have to continue to clean up downtown. Downtown is really not a very clean space, not a space that is attractive to people. And I've had business people complain to me about the cleanliness of the city. So that's one of the first things we have to do, is we have to make sure that we are maintaining our city. Then we have to look at how we are going to provide the employees and have our employees upskilled to have the skills necessary to be able to compete for those jobs. One of the things I'm excited about is that UNO, Metropolitan Community College, Creighton University, and a number of educational institutions are looking at how do we upskill, how do we provide certifications so that our people have the skills necessary to be able to compete for the jobs. That's something I'm going to partner with them on. That's something I've been talking about and working on for years. So we have to continue to make sure we have the workforce. We have to continue to make sure we provide the incentives and the other things necessary to compete for those businesses as well. If we are going to get those businesses, we need to do a better job of competing. There are a number of cities in the Midwest who are growing their jobs significantly faster than the city of Omaha. And I believe that is because we are not competing we are not providing the infrastructure, we are not providing the workforce, we are not doing the incentives that are necessary to compete. And that has to be our primary objective, is to compete for those opportunities in order to attract people here.
Thank you very much. Again, the question is, what strategies would you implement to attract major employers to downtown?
You know, I love asking people that have never been here before their first impression of Omaha, and I get to do that a lot during the College World Series. And what I hear repeatedly is they love Omaha because they feel so safe here and it is so clean here. And I think if a mayor can score a very clean, safe city, you've hit a home run. So I love doing that, and that's what people think about Omaha. But my job as mayor is to make Omaha the attractive city that businesses want to come to, and working with our partners at the Greater Omaha Chamber. They are the ones that go out and meet with businesses and try to recruit them here, but I need to make sure as mayor that it is the type of city they want to move to. There is a trend that is very different than it used to be. It used to be that business would come and people would follow. Now it's different. You got to bring your people here first, because the businesses will say, will I have enough employees there? Since I have been mayor, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. We've dropped the unemployment rate from 4% to 2%. That could be a bit of a double-edged sword, because again, businesses are looking for, will they have enough employees? So again, I have to repeat what we are doing in our urban core. We are making it more friendly and more inviting to young professionals so that they will come into Omaha and stay here. All of the new development downtown, especially the multifamily downtown, there is such a need for that. I have people say, why are you building all those multifamily apartments downtown? They fill up the minute they are open. In fact, our partners at Front Porch Investment say for every new unit that is built downtown, there are 7 people waiting for it right now. So we have to continue to make Omaha a safe city where businesses want to come to. That's the job of the mayor to do that, and then to work with our partners with the Greater Omaha Chamber of Commerce. Downtown is not dirty, and it is growing like at great pace. In just the past several years, we have had over $1.5 billion worth of new development downtown. The other thing with downtown, my focus, is when we were doing our study of the downtown in the Midtown area, right now, half of downtown and Midtown are dedicated to parking, and at any given time, half is vacant. That's not what you want as far as good land use downtown. I want to replace those vacant parking lots with businesses and jobs so that more people will come in and stay in the city of Omaha. And that is exactly what we are doing. So, you know, and another thing that I think is really important is I do wish, as far as workforce development and job training, we put a lot of money, the City of Omaha, into workforce development. Heartland Workforce Solutions, for example, a one-stop shop in North Omaha, how you could learn anywhere how to do an application for a job to how to get the skills that are for the jobs that are out there. We just opened up a new branch in South Omaha on South 24th Street. But another program that I think we really need to encourage our high schools is dual enrollment programs. If they can have a dual enrollment program with the high school and with Metro Community College, and these kids could graduate from high school with some sort of a skill that they could go right into the workforce, that is something that I really support and would like to encourage in the future. And so Omaha is growing. It is growing faster than some of our neighbors, like Des Moines is not growing at all. Their metro is, but not their city. Omaha right now, after the last 10-year census, we are the 39th largest city in the country, and we're right under 500,000 people. And the Omaha metro, as we said before, it just hit the 1 million mark, and that is very attractive for more businesses. So I think we are really on the move. I think we could prove that things are developing at a rapid pace, and downtown is growing, and it is safe, and that's what attracts people to our city of Omaha.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I think that does leave us out of time for further audience questions. I want to be, again, respectful of the candidates' time. For all of you Creighton students in the audience, don't forget it is a school night. So we want to get you out of here and home as well. But before we do that, I do want to give each candidate a couple of minutes to give us a closing statement. And again, thank you both for being here, and thank you for all of your great answers to the questions so far. So continuing with our pattern based on the initial coin flip, First closing statement, Mayor Stothert, please.
Okay, I thought it was last.
Oh,
but-
I'm sorry, you're right, my bad. Mr. Ewing.
Thank you.
Sorry, just keeping you on your toes.
I know.
Thank you all for being part of this important conversation tonight. Omaha is a city of strength, spirit, and possibility. I believe our best days are ahead of us, but progress doesn't just happen. It takes leadership rooted in vision, grounded in values, and committed to results. You've heard tonight about my plans to make our city more connected through smart infrastructure to tackle our housing crisis with urgency and compassion, and to modernize how we grow so that every neighborhood thrives, not just a few. We've talked about sustainability, about fairness, and about a city government that listens to you, and not just the loudest or the wealthiest voices. I am not running to maintain the status quo. I am running to move Omaha forward with bold ideas, practical solutions, and unshakable belief in our people. This campaign is about making sure every child has a shot, every worker has a path, and every resident has a seat at the table. And that is my pledge to you, and I would love to have your vote on May 13th. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mayor Stothert.
All right,
Sorry
now
for
it's
the
my
fright
turn.
there, go ahead.
That's okay. Thank you, David, and thank you, Omaha by Design, for this opportunity tonight. There is a reason that Forbes magazine named Omaha the best city in the United States to move to in 2024, giving the city of Omaha a perfect score, 100 out of 100 points for safety, affordability, and employment, and it's really hard to be better than number one. It takes strong leadership and a record of action that improves the quality of life for all of Omaha. Omaha is strong. It is improving by every measure which a great city and growing city are measured by, and we are definitely not a status quo city. We have strong community policing, leading to a record low crime rates that make Omaha a leader across the country in public safety. We have strong financial management of your tax dollars. We have a strong economy so that businesses can thrive and families can enjoy affordable quality of life. We have strong employment and workforce training programs to prepare for high-demand, high-paying jobs. And we have strong public-private partnerships. These are not just plans or ideas. This is a record of achievement. Cities never stand still. They are either growing and moving forward or declining and falling behind. I will always keep Omaha moving forward. I love working with you. I love working for you. And I look forward to continuing my service to Omaha. I think we have greater achievements ahead. I would appreciate and be honored to have your vote on May 13th. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you very much. Please join me in thanking our candidates. We really appreciate both of you being here. We are very fortunate to have two great candidates. I also want to thank our sponsors, our community partners, again, Creighton University for hosting us, and thank you to all of you. That will conclude the event. Thanks again. Thank you very much.